All right, welcome to another episode of our short interview series that we're doing at BrainPark. We get to know a little bit about some of the researchers and some of the students that both work in our research team as well as use the facility. So today I have Erynn sitting down with me. Erynn is a PhD student with the group, but has been involved with the group for a little while now and across many different projects that we'll chat about today. So thank you for virtually sitting down with me, Erynn.
No worries.
I just know I've probably got to up my plant game for the old background. You've got me outkicked there significantly.
ISO has made me plant crazy. I just spent all of Saturday afternoon debugging my plants, so like wiping every leaf.
Yeah, who would have thought that 2020 that'd be like the things we find enjoyment out of on our weekends, debugging our plants. And it's such lovely weather to be outside. Thank you for sitting down with me. I guess as we've kind of started off many of the other interviews, tell us a little bit about, I guess, your path into a PhD and why you decided to kind of do a PhD with the group.
Yeah, sure. So I guess after I finished my undergrad, I knew that I really wanted to do a PhD. I just didn't quite know what I wanted to do it in and where I wanted to do it. So I did a bit of lab hopping, working as an RA across a few different labs at Monash. And I actually did my honours it was based in MBI, the building, which is where BrainPark is also situated. And I went to a bunch of BrainPark lab meetings, and I had some friends who worked at BrainPark, which back then was called the Brain and Mental Health Research Hub, I think. So that was before BrainPark was even built. And I got to know a bit about the culture and the type of research that the hub was doing, and just loved it and thought I really want to get involved with this lab.
Yeah, great. So, what's your PhD topic? You're obviously right near the beginning of your PhD. Well, I mean, it's October now, so kind of, I guess, significant way through the first year. But what's your PhD investigating?
Yeah, so I think I'm about 7 months in, and my PhD is looking at the neurocognitive underpinnings and predictors of addiction and problematic behaviour. So I'm really interested in how the different ways we make decisions and think then predict engagement in things like drinking alcohol, problematic internet use. I'm even interested in, bringing in some problematic online shopping, and effectively seeing how, our cognitions predict problematic behaviours.
Yeah, I guess potentially the potential cohort of problematic internet shopping may have increased during the period of the last 6 months. So, has your PhD been, and your topic and your interest in studying some of the things you're telling us about, been driven or impacted by some of the projects you've been involved with? I know you were involved in an insanely cool honours project, as well as another cannabis project within the group. Can you tell us a little bit about your honours project and some of the other work you've been involved in, and how that might have driven some of your interest in what you're currently researching?
Yeah, sure. So I was super lucky to work in the air lab under Antonio Verdeo Garcia. So he was my honours supervisor, as well as Ian Harding. And we worked on this really cool project looking at decision making in obesity and food choice, particularly. And it was this fMRI study that was super cool. I really enjoyed working on that project, and we're actually currently writing up the manuscript now, hopefully to be submitted later this month, fingers crossed. So that was a really cool study because it introduced me to the concept of decision making and choice, and then I guess from there I springboarded into I worked a bit at the sleep lab on a study called the Better Sleep Study, which was really cool. That was with Charmaine Dieppe and under Claire Anderson. And that was looking at cognition as well, but it was looking at how a device, I think it was designed by Philips, could improve your slow wave sleep and therefore improve your cognition. which was really cool. So that sort of made me think a bit more about cognition and decision making and how it can be impacted and improved upon. And then the work on the cannabis research study, that was really cool. That was actually my first introduction, I guess, to the BrainPark lab. I was hired as a research assistant to work on that project. And that's been really great. We've been looking at how different constituents of cannabis, so cannabis is full of a bunch of different chemicals, and you might have heard of THC and CBD. And they're called cannabinoids. So we were really interested, there's over 100 different cannabinoids that have been identified. So we're interested in how different cannabinoids within the plant impact your brain, your mental health and cognition, particularly things like memory, which is often impaired with heavy cannabis use. So we're actually the first study in Australia to ever look at street cannabis and test what people are actually smoking, and then link it to their cognitive functioning and mental health, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, now obviously that study has potentially had to shift a little bit because of COVID. How's your work or your involvement in that project shifted during COVID? And then also, I guess, has your PhD had to kind of take a bit of a different course over the last few months, or because it's early on at the moment, you're kind of still progressing as planned, so to speak?
So I was super lucky with the PhD in that, number one, a big proponent of the PhD is online data collection, because we're trying to, my PhD kind of slots in with a project which is validating an application that's been designed by a team at BrainPark, Rico, Lee and Murat and Beck and Leo and Lucy, and effectively it's called BrainPark, so the BrainPark Assessment of Cognition app, and it's a series of gamified tasks, gamified neurocognitive tasks like the stop signal task, the delay discounting task, and it's all online on an app. So a lot of the data collection can be done through sending links to people and having it all virtually done, which is really lucky and great. And also, I guess it highlights how much we need these sorts of, remote data collection tools and assessments when you're going through a pandemic and you can't reach people like you would normally.
And has the plan or the data collection for the cannabis study had to pivot or shift?
Yeah, definitely. So the cannabis study had to pivot substantially because it's being run in a different state. So we were initially doing trips up and back, and obviously because we're based in Melbourne, we can't leave the state. So it has had to pivot, but it's been a great learning curve. We've now transitioned everything online. So we do Zoom interviews, and we're running the whole battery, and whole assessment via Zoom. And we've also come up with some very creative ways of still getting those cannabis samples to analyse them. So I can't disclose too much because we do need to protect our protocol, seeing as cannabis is an illegal substance still. But yeah, we've had to pivot, but it's been good. It's been a really interesting journey.
Yeah, it'll make, I guess a lot of the challenges that researchers and research teams have faced this year will make potential future years, other hiccups that come along projects, seem like a walk in the park. So finally, thank you for going into detail about many of the projects and your PhD that you've been working on. Just finally, as I've kind of asked some of the other researchers, in your words, why would someone want to be a research assistant or a PhD, as you've been both? Why would someone want to, I guess, work with the BrainPark team?
Well, I mean, I chose BrainPark because I thought it was such an awesome culture. It's full of really diverse, knowledgeable people in a lot of different teams, and a lot of different expertise mixed together in one lab, which I thought was really cool. Really well resourced, really friendly, and everyone likes working together. I feel like it's a good team environment, and I thrive off kind of teamwork and those social aspects. So that was the big thing that brought me there. And also, BrainPark's been really good at facilitating what I want to do. Definitely haven't tried to kind of fit me into a project. It's been, cool. Tell us, what do you want to do? And you roll with that. And I've been really well supported. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for virtually sitting down with me today. With restrictions easing, hopefully you can do some more exciting things rather than clean the bugs off your plants as we go forward. Although that's a very important thing to do. Yeah, the health of your plants is very, very critical. So thanks again for sitting down with me.
No worries. Thanks, James.